Hello, happy Wednesday, happy hump day energy balance. My name is Sue McLaughlin. Inner Source Living is my practice. I am doing these energy balances weekly so that we all can recalibrate and get in alignment and release some stress so we can make it through the rest of the week till next Wednesday. If you find this beneficial, please share it, spread the word. These are group sessions, so there's an umbrella so that anyone who feels called to listen to this will understand for themselves personally without me having to take specifics information. So it will have meaning for whoever chooses to listen and is open to receiving. I am using the body talk chart to get my yeses and nos so I can follow along and figure out where we're going to go. We're going to focus on time today. We're going to focus on trauma, personal trauma, your trauma, and any generational trauma that may have come along, epigenetically passed along in our DNA, and the amygdala, which is a part of our limbic brain that is our first connection with the outside world emotionally. Is it safe? Is it not? It's how we connect with other people. It sends information to the hippocampus. Hippocampus timestamps and files it. It's like the librarian. So when it senses something, the hippocampus has to discern what it matches. So is it new information, or am I going to go back? And sometimes there's some confusion there, and it says it looks like this, so we're going to have an over response. And 10 minutes later, it could be like, what happened? Because what it does is when it says danger, the hippocampus says to the hypothalamus, let's go to fight or flight. So currently, we are all probably in sympathetic nervous system, which means we're in fight or flight. It's a generalization, but if you're not being mindful and taking the time for yourself to give yourself rest and repose, then most likely you're there most of your day. These sessions, and this one specifically, is to get you back into parasympathetic so that you can have that rest, you can get the sleep you need, your body can really only heal and properly digest when you are in this, because sympathetic fight or flight means you are running from a bear. And when you're running from a bear, you really don't think about eating, what you're eating, how fast you're eating. You don't think about rest. You just don't think about those things because you just keep running. All right, okay. Get yourself in a place that is comfortable and appropriate for you to listen and receive without interruption. We're going to get started here. I'm muscle checking with my hands. All right, so we're starting in environment, and more specifically in environment, we are starting with culture and race. And there is where things don't feel in alignment. There's a connection in our heart as well, and the dopamine that our heart makes, which is one of those chemicals, those neurotransmitters that say joy in our life, dopamine and serotonin. 90% of the dopamine created that brings us joy comes from our heart. So where there has been hurts and woundedness to our heart that are associated with culture and race, that's some of the healing that we want to bring up, and any connection that has to that is blocking the potential for us to create a different experience where we thought something was dangerous in the past. Okay, and then active memory is coming up. And again, it's this how to be loved, that you need to be a certain way. By age 7, we have figured out, we've absorbed all the information like a sponge when we're little, and we have figured out how to fit in our family. So again, going back to the reptilian brain, if you say you're in a cave, man, your clan, you are, if you get separated, it's dangerous. So you do what you need to not be kicked out, to be loved and accepted, even if it feels like it's at your own expense, because you need that security. Okay. All right, so that's our first formula. We're going to tap that out. If you would like to participate, you do not have to do these hand positions. I'm putting my hand over my heart. Whew, just really connecting to even where race and culture has challenged our beliefs, where we just thought things were supposed to be a certain way or we didn't understand. Some forgiveness there of self and other, and allowing us to experience more love and joy, opening our hearts to receiving more love and joy. One more deep breath. I'm tapping, getting this back in alignment. Okay. All right. That formula is complete. All right. Now I'm going to spleen, organs to spleen, and its cleansing properties. It cleanses helps the lymph and the blood. It's our subconscious, and it's old grief. I'm getting old grief. And then gallbladder is coming up, so that's the next part of this formula, and it's frustration. So we're working again on this area along our ribs, underneath our breast line, in that third chakra, personal power. And where there's been woundedness, what's connecting this is also where there's disapproval and woundedness, lack of acceptance. And it's not just acceptance by others, it's also where I didn't accept myself. And again, that might have been a compromise that we chose to make in order to feel secure. So I am going to place, you can put your hands on your right and left side if you want. Again, on your ribs, underneath your breast. I'm going to put my arm across the whole band, and I'm just going to tap this in. Some nice, slow, deep breaths. Okay, all right, so this is no longer priority. Next formula, it's a consciousness. Oh, we're going to the amygdala, love it. And it's the outside influence of judgment, where it's been hard or harsh, or the experience that we have, a reaction to where people are hard to please. I don't know how to make them happy. I don't know how to make them love me, how to make them accept me, or just not judge me, right? Leave me alone. And so there's this unsureness that we are experiencing. So I say we as in the person on the table, and myself. And so, and there's some hesitation, again, is another word that comes up. And that's our defensive pattern in and this is all anchored in our heart again. So, great. And this is in and of itself a formula. So you can put your hand on your heart if you would like to put your hands otherwise on your limbic brain. Hand on right and left side of your brain, just above your ears, fingers pointed back. I'm going to connect here first. And I'm putting my hand on my heart. I'm going to tap this out. And so some of that hesitation could be around, or even unsure, is I don't know how to formulate my question. I don't know what you need to feel confident in my sincerity. I don't know when to step in. That kind of confusion. And so getting just really kind of calming that down so that there's just so the hesitation isn't there as much. In sometimes when somebody is in high stress, they just need to know you're there. And so it's like, I don't know what to do for you, but I'm here. So I'm just going to sit here with you. I'm on the phone with you, whatever that is. I'm just going to be here with you. Or I'm across the country, and I just know, I know you're going through the stress. Just know that I am making a heart connection with you. And that is sometimes all that's needed, right? Being heard, seen, and that is just so important. Okay, all right, so that is complete. Moving on to, this is a beautiful session. Bodygenics, emotional release, it's in the heart. And it's just woundedness. It's just this generational woundedness. And it's like there's daggers. And I see them as teeny little daggers. Every time somebody like just poked at you, right? Sting after sting after sting. And there's a generational piece to this as well. So that can go way back. Again, we've already brought in culture and race. That can go way, way back to how women and different races are treated and respected, or honored or not. And it also can go back to some woundedness. Maybe there was a difficult experience or life that your grandmother or your father had, or something like that. And so there's those little daggers that we carry for other. And we want to just gently pull those out. So where we didn't even know we could pull them out. And again, this isn't like ripping a Band-Aid. This is just and asking for instantaneous healing as we let go of these experiences, ours and the generations before us, so that we can just really breathe into this. And I want you to tap your heart. So on your sternum, between your breastbone, whatever that feels like for you, but in the center of your chest. I want you to tap there as I do work here. And I'm going to tap there as well. Grace and ease as we just let these experiences go that are inhibiting our heart's ability to give us all the dopamine we deserve. Healing any wounds without scars. Almost putting a beautiful balm around it so it's safe and secure. I'm just going to tap this in for us. New information for the brain to remember. This is where we are in our vibrance and alignment, no longer carrying the stress of these wounded experiences, harsh words, physical traumas, emotional traumas, spiritual traumas. Okay. All right. That is complete, that formula. We have another one. This is exciting. Okay, heart. Time again. And the time is now, right? No more confusion. The time is now to allow for this healing to happen. And all this chaos and eruption over and over, it's all coming up for us to heal. And there's a connection to our thyroid. So we're eliminating that confusion around, I don't know what to do. Again, we're back into parasympathetic. system, nervous system, so we can get to this healing place and allow it to happen. Thyroid coming up. It's also this voice box area. It's where we have energy. It's about communication, and the connection to our heart and our heart's desire. I'm also getting, it feels pretty impactful for me personally. I'm no longer feeling choked by life, right? And so when we have this contraction here, it blocks our connection to God. So if you understand or connect with chakras, the heart chakra is this fourth chakra. We have these lower chakras that keep us grounded into the earth and in our body and in our personal power. And then our heart also connects us to God, divinity, universe, higher self. And so we want this all to open up and flow. So we can feel the presence of higher self, higher power, higher source, God, coming to heal the wounds of our heart, the wounds of generation. Now is the time. So I'm just going to I always place my hand at a distance, but in front of the throat chakra. Just feels very respectful to do that. All right, now I'm just going to tap this in for us. Some nice slow deep breaths, and when you breathe, start the expansion at your diaphragm, at your stomach. Don't let your chest rise up first. Work on that. You can put your hands on your chest and on that high diaphragm, and you'll be able to feel like if you're breathing. So if you get into a point of anxiety and going into fight or flight, usually this is what keeps expanding, and it sends the wrong information to the brain that you need to, the dangers around. To help you get out of that, breathing is an amazing tool. Then as long as you are upright and breathing or laying down and breathing, you can use, and it's just start to slow your breath so that you can get a connection with it. Your brain has to connect with your body if you're asking to see where it is, and then you can slowly move and get deeper and deeper, and then you will be back in your body in parasympathetic. That is today's energy balance. Listen to this as many times as you need to. I would say once a day, but you can listen to it as often as you need to. You can listen to it in the future as well. You don't have to just stop listening to it when the next balance comes out. This feels like a great balance for healing and allowing for generational healing as well. Thank you very much, and I will see you next week. Be well.